I just paid $2,400 for this 2016 Subaru Outback, and over the last 2 weeks, we've actually bought over 40 cars for my car dealership, and every one of these cars I've bought cheap enough that I'm going to be able to sell it for $5,000 or under. And throughout this video, I'm actually going to show you exactly what I bought, I'm going to show you what I paid for it, and I'm going to tell you what I'm actually going to sell it for, so you can see what I'm going to make on each and every one of these cars. All right, so I got to do this to you and for you, right? So I know who you are because I see my demographics on who's watching these videos, and like 75% of you are over 50 years old and you're male, so you're probably grandpas for most of you. This is a grandpa car. We just bought this one, so I know you're going to want to see it. So I have to pick out cars that I would think that my audience would like to see more, how much I'm paying for it, and what I'm selling it for. And this is you. It's a Buick LaCrosse. What year is it? This is a 2005. It's got 148,000 miles. We paid $1,500 for this car. There's going to be no way that we don't sell this very, very quickly for $2,500. We'll probably start it out $3,000, and then if it doesn't sell 2 weeks later, we'll drop our price by $500. But $2,500 is probably going to be where we land on this. And when we do that initial price drop, then that's where we'll probably sell it. See, what happens a lot at my car dealership is that we'll start it out at trying to make like $1,500 on the car, and after that initial price drop, that's when stuff like flies off. So if we go through a time period where we're dealing with exactly right now, you see all of these cars behind me. We just bought 40 something cars in the last 2 weeks, where we'll put all of those cars out at basically the same time. We just had 20 cars washed. We'll have another 20 washed in the next day or so, and then go ahead and start posting them online. But we'll have a time period where we're probably just a little bit slower, even though we have tons of inventory. But then 2 weeks from now, when we do our first price cut on that new inventory coming in, where we drop it by $500, then it will get absolutely slammed, because in a lot of cases that first number where we're trying to make about $1,500, we're usually just a little bit off. Now we'll sell through some of them and we'll hit a home run on some of those cars, but in a lot of cases our average is $1,000, and that's typically where the market tells us where these cars, how much we should make on these cars. And so if we buy a car just like that, $1,500, we'll try to sell it for $3,000. Market on it's probably $2,500. Me just looking at it, knowing what I know, been doing this long enough, knowing that it's a grandpa car and it's a Buick LaCrosse, so there's only going to be a select amount of people that are going to want that kind of car. I know it's probably a $2,500 car, but maybe because we got a really good deal on it, and maybe $3,000 is still cheap relative to the market on this vehicle. And we're going to let the market tell us. And if we're wrong on it, then they'll let us know in about 2 weeks, and we'll drop it $500, and then we'll sell it. And that's usually what happens. All right, so this one was actually in the intro for this video, because I think this is probably one of the best buys that we've had in quite a bit. But it's a 2016. It's usually not a year that we're able to buy. Like, keep in mind, I buy cars that I have to sell for $5,000 and under. And to do that, I'm typically not buying cars that are only 9 years old. And this one we paid $2,400 for. We're going to have buyer fee on top of that. But it's probably going to be, because it's super nice on the inside too, we're going to try to probably make $1,500 on it. So that's going to put us pricing it, somewhere around $4,000, maybe. If we still feel like it's a good deal and we can squeeze it out of it, maybe $4,500, but then we're going to let the market decide really if that's a good deal or not. I think it probably is, but we'll probably sell it for probably somewhere around $4,000 when everything's said and done on it. That's going to be one of the better profit cars that we actually have, or typically have, here on my car dealership, because we usually only make about $1,000 a car. So that one, we got a really good deal on it. It's a newer car for us. It looks like it's kept up very, very well, and not a lot of dog hair in it, and it seems rare for a Subaru. So what that probably means is that a dog committed a crime in that car, and they needed to cover it up. But it's super, super clean, and one that I really like. We buy a lot of Subarus. I mean, we got one sitting up there, and then there's one right behind that one too. We've got a couple for sale on our lot. Hell, here's another one. I love Subarus. I think they're really good cars. The Outbacks, the Foresters, very, very good cars. I like to buy a lot of them. I would say probably, other than Hondas and Toyotas, I would say probably Subaru is probably the next brand that I like to have the most on my car lot. one, they sell really, really well, and two, they're actually really good cars from what I've had experience with, and I really, really like them. And my favorite car of any other car that you can actually buy, well, the make and model is the favorite. The year is not my favorite, but Toyota Camry. It's a 2000 model. My absolute favorite years in these cars were 2002 to 2006 4-cylinders, but this is a very close second. These things run forever. This is a 2000 Toyota Camry. Paid $1,700 for it. I've been in the car business long enough to know buying a car isn't fun, and renting a car usually isn't either. You land at the airport, you're tired, and the last thing you want to do is stand at a counter and wait for whatever car that they're going to give you. And that's where Turo changes the game. Turo is the world's largest car sharing marketplace. With more than 1,600 makes and models listed by trusted hosts across the US, UK, Canada, Australia, and France. It's available at over 140 airports in the US and Canada, so you can skip the counter and go straight to the car that you actually wanted. And booking is simple. Type the airport name in the search bar, filter for what you need, and pick the exact car that you'll drive. When you arrive, the Turo app will show you where it's parked, whether that's in a lot, a garage, or even curbside. No lines, no hassle, and you've got a huge selection. Budget cars, SUVs, EVs, even luxury models. Plus extras like ski racks and child seats if you need them. Travel is stressful enough. Your car doesn't need to be. So you can head to my link in the description to rent a car through Turo. And I want to thank Turo for sponsoring today's video. And it's getting to where it's harder to find these kind of cars because a lot of people that own these actual Camrys, they keep them forever and they won't sell them because they're getting to a point where they're not really worth anything to go trade them in at a dealership. Because I paid $1,700 for this wholesale, so someone's probably traded it in and they only got probably $600, $700, $800 for it from the actual dealership. Maybe $1,500 if they just made the deal work. But you're just not going to get a lot of money to trade these cars in. And for a lot of people, it makes no sense for them to trade it in and only get $1,000 somewhere around there for this car because it's a good running car. And in a lot of cases, they'll keep it even in the family. They'll sell it to maybe a new driver or someone if it's still a good car. And it's not rare for me to see these Camrys go through an auction and them still have 350,000 miles. I've seen some with 400,000 miles, 500,000 miles on these cars. These things just did not break, and I can go back and tell you a little story of just this same particular kind of car. I bought one for my aunt. It had to be probably 8 years ago, somewhere around there. Maybe not that long, maybe 6, 7 years ago. But I bought it for $300. This was before all the craziness, and we could buy really cheap cars. I think it was like a '98, and it had 200-something thousand miles. I paid $300 for it at the auction, sold it to her for $300, and she drove it for years and years and years and years and never had any issues with this car. And these are the kind of cars that you can go and buy very, very cheaply, not put a lot of money into them, and just run them. Yeah, maybe it's not the prettiest thing that's on the road, or maybe it's not the best looking thing if you buy one with some bad paint or something like that. But if you can go find one of these, I think when they changed the body style and put those motors in, it's like 1996 up into 2001, this kind of body style. Great cars. You can buy them still really cheap, and you can make them run forever. All you gotta do is make sure it's got oil in it. So here's the thing. So this one, paid $1,700 for it. Probably gonna be a $3,000 car on a lot, and it will not last very long because there's a lot of people out there that know exactly the same thing that I know. These cars run forever. All right, and here is another Subaru Outback that I can show you. This is like I said, I love buying Subarus. This is one of the top cars that I would have on my lot if it were just up to me of what, if I could go to the auction and say, okay, we're just going to have nothing but these cars, and they were actually there at the auction, then these are the kind of cars I would pick. And I see a lot in the comments, well, why don't you just have nothing but Toyotas and Hondas and Subarus on your lot if that's what you're saying that they're so good, and not have Fords and Chevys and Kias that are not your favorite? Well, it's because I have to buy what's actually there, and there's not a massive supply anymore of just Hondas, just Toyotas that we can go buy at auction. So if we want to sell 65, 70 cars in a month, well, we have to have the inventory to be able to supply us with that, and it's just there's not enough of just the cars that I want to buy to be able to really just have a full lot of just those cars. So that's why we have to buy these other cars. But I want to show you, just so you know, I'm not just making a bunch of this stuff up for a YouTube video. show your actual prices. So this is, sorry for the jumbling, this is a 2014 Subaru Outback. Got 170,000 miles, and we paid $3,000 for it. So we're going to have a buyer fee on top of that, and we'll probably have some little fix or whatever on it. This is going to be at the top of our range, but it's a 2014, it's got 170,000 miles. When I'm talking about range of actually selling it, when everything's said and done, we've got all our fees, all our fixes, and everything in there. It's probably going to be a $5,000 car on our lot, and that's the top end of what I want to actually have on the lot. So you can kind of figure that out, what I have to go and look for at auctions. I can't really spend more than $3,000, because on that $3,000 car, we're going to have probably around a $300 buyer fee. So that puts you at $3,300. And then we're going to have to fix something. Most of these cars are $5,000 or under. We have to fix something on it. So let's just say an average of maybe $200 that we're going to have to put into a car like this before we actually retail it. That puts us at $3,500. If we want to make between $1,000 and $1,500 on the car, that puts us at a cap of what we can actually buy in auction when we're in lane, when me and Alex are watching these cars go through. We can only go up to $3,000 on any given car because we want to stay at that $5,000 and under range. And for us to do that, that's where we have to sit at. Because when we're at the auction, we're still having to bake in, okay, we're going to have an auction fee. We're going to have to bake in. We're going to have a transport fee. We're going to have to bake in. We're going to have to get it cleaned up. We're going to have to bake in that we're going to have to fix something on the car. And when we're doing that through auction, we have to really back in that number to be able to get us to where we know that we can sell a car for under $5,000. Probably not going to have any problem selling that car for $4,500 to $5,000, but you don't make your money when you sell the car. I'm sure if you've been around the car market at all, you know this phrase. You don't make your money when you sell the car. You make your money when you buy the car. So we have to buy these cars right so we can sell them right. So then we can make money and pay our bills here and make a profit and keep rolling and burn and turn and do all the things that we need to do to stay relevant in this car market and still be able to make a living doing what we're doing. All right, so we did it. I left my house a little after 6 this morning, and we're an hour away. And I'm at an auction I haven't been to in quite a while. This is actually a really big auction. It's a Mannheim auction, and they run, I think, 16 lanes here. But I had to go through the run list. They're running 2,200 cars here today. And I went through the whole list, and I was able to pick out about 40 cars that we're going to look at here today. Let's see. I mean, we got to buy more cars, so I'm here and I'm doing it. I'm doing the thing. This is what we got to do. And now is the time where I just sit in the car and contemplate every decision I've ever made to lead me to this point of being a used car dealer, getting up this early, and checking out cars. And I don't want to do it. All right, let's see what we get. All right, auction's over. I think I did okay. I bought 6 that they actually sold to me in lane, and we got 2 if bids. That just means that the reserve was higher than what I bid it off at, and they're going to call the seller, see if they'll take it, call me back. The seller probably want a couple more $100 or whatever, and we'll have to go from there, but we got at least 6. They went through, I was surprised, it's been a while since I've been to this auction, but they go through a lot of cars really fast. It's only, let's see, it's an hour and 45 minutes since the auction started, and there were, like, the highest number on my list was like 122. So there was 122 cars that went through just about each lane in an hour and 45 minutes. That's pretty good. They have 16 lanes here at this auction. It's been a while, like I said, since I've been at this auction, and this one's a little bit more high-paced than the ones that I would typically go to or have seen in the last year or so, what we've been going to. So it was fun and not fun all at the same time because prices I felt like were higher here. And I talked to a couple other dealers, and they told me that they run higher here than they do at other auctions. And that's just the element of, it's a big auction, so everyone within probably 2 hours away from here is coming to this auction just because they run so many cars every single week. And also the element of, okay, there's online buyers too, so you got a lot of online bids. Now, most auctions do have online bids, but because this is like the biggest auction within probably, I would say, a 400-mile radius of here, then you're just going to have even online buyers from states over that are buying cars here, getting them shipped out. So it's a little pricey, but I was surprised I was able to get what I got. Now, I had 25 cars on my list to try to bid on, and the beginning of sale was not going well. Most of the cars I had, I thought were going to be like $1,500, $2,000. They were going for like $3,000, $3,500. So I even texted my wife. I was like, I have no clue what the values of these cars are anymore, apparently. And talked to another buddy that buys similar stuff to what I do, and he said the first cars that go through the auction are always crazy. Everyone's on them, and then I guess some dealers leave, and then later on in the auction, prices get better, and that was true. I bought most of my cars that I bought today were later, like an hour into the auction. So I guess dealers come and they try to make sure they get 2 or 3 cars, and then they just run out of money, or they run out of however many cars they cap themselves, and then they leave. But they make sure they get those 2 or 3 cars. That's a stupid way to run an auction if you're a dealership. Not to run the auction, but to kind of pace yourself in auction. If you're trying to sprint, this is a marathon. This is not a sprint when you're dealing with a lot of these cars. So anyway, but that's what we did. We stayed for all the cars, and I was able to grab some, and hopefully they pan out. But I'm typically not the one to buy cars. It's Alex. So I probably got us some problems that I shouldn't have bought today, and I'm very sorry, Alex. I'm very sorry. But this is what we gotta do. We gotta figure out how to buy more cars. So I'll be doing more of this.